today's test is going to be a little different because, at least partially because OBS won't capture this window, so I have to do a display capture and then crop it in editing. So I don't know how well that'll work because the window position isn't fixed, so I'm going to have to change the crop every time, which will get old, probably, because I want it in the middle of my window, but I can't fix it there. So it's never going to be quite the same. I also don't know how the sound is going to balance. I put it back to my default minus 10 decibels to see how it does, because the game audio is where I keep it, which is quiet but audible. I don't like loud noises unless I need to hear them, and only when I need to hear them. But rather than start the beginning of the game, now, I have played a little bit of the main campaign for this. I have never gone particularly far through it. I've certainly never beat the game. What I'm going to do is what I do when I'm testing a character build, which is start this, because you start at a high level, meaning I can go through a lot of levels with a build to see how it'll work, and how it'll pan out over time. Because you'll get to see the character creation and go from that. This is based on D&D 3.5-ish, but there are key differences in some areas, and in the manual, which is a PDF that's in the menu, not the game menu, the Windows menu. It does actually highlight areas that are mildly to significantly different from book rules. It's nice that they actually do point that out. So there are some races in here that are just better overall for a whole lot of options, but they have level adjustment, meaning, in this case, the first 2 levels that other people in your party can make, you just don't. You are going to be 2 levels behind, which does impact some of the decision making and usefulness in that beginning game section more than anything else, because if you personally do not have certain skills, there are things that are unavailable to you in the beginning of the game that you can't go back and get, and a level adjustment impacts your ability to actually access those things. And that's as specific as I'm going to be, because while it's very early game stuff, we're not there. But, that because it's a point-buy thing, having better stats is always nice. I'm gonna go with the human because the extra feat and the extra skill points. And for a lot of these, they do have different options that have slightly different Drugar are special. Just like you can have Drow, and then different elves with different stat arrangements. So it's not just core races and variants of them, it's some expanded ones. This includes Asmar and Tieflings, but also some Genasi, which, I mean, none of them have what I want. The closest to what I want, because it's the only one with a wisdom bonus, is Asmar. It's the only race available, period, with a wisdom bonus. Which, for what I think I'm going to try for a build, that would be helpful, but this complicates that. Whiny fucking cat. Shut up. But yeah, I'm gonna just leave the default look. What I'm gonna try and go for is a good build. These are all prestige classes. A good build for this, which means it's gonna be a mix of monk and cleric to build on this. I could use monk and favored soul, which is a spontaneous type of divine caster. And there's a good thing about that, is that if I put enough levels into them, they get focus, with it, and they do get some other stuff. I don't get the bonuses from having domains. I mean, clerics get shit skill points too. I do get better saves, so it's kind of a trade-off. But spontaneous casters are always a level below the spellcasting ability of prepared spellcasters. But also, spontaneous casters are charisma based, and monks get a bonus for high wisdom, and clerics are divine casters, so wisdom. So that is the way that makes sense to me to be more efficient with that. Um, and starting as a monk means starting with more skill points. Now for this, um, this is also why starting with monk, because you can get improved unarmed strike in a lot of other ways. Stunning fist, you cannot have stunning fist at a low enough level to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, I have to spend 6 levels to get to this. I will have more than 8 ranks of lore at that point. But yeah, stunning fist is what slows us down for any attempt at this that isn't a monk. Isn't monk based. I'm gonna start with monk. I'm gonna park you there. I don't need a deity yet. And then point by. It's 1 point until I get there, and then it gets more expensive. And I never spend the extra. I'm not willing to pay more. So this is the build we're gonna get, because I'm not wasting points on stat points. I would rather be able to roll and re-roll until I get a good set of stats than have to deal with point buy ever. I hate it so much. These are things that are from this game. They're not like book-based stuff, and they all have downsides. So I don't bother with any of them. And the prerequisites vary, but yeah, they all have downsides, so I don't bother with any of them. And then tumble is more useful than generally, because avoiding attacks of opportunity are nice, but this, for every 10 ranks in this skill, you also get a bonus to AC, which is nice. When we get to Spellcraft, +1 for every 5 ranks, 2 saves. Um, so when we get there, we're not there yet. When we do. Now, I'm not going to spend all of our points. I definitely need to spend those. I don't have to spend all of them. You can reserve 5. I'm going to reserve 4. And having that extra feat, because I'm human, means I can add this. Cross-class skills cost a single point, because I'm not spending extra points on those fucking things. And then this. All saves and AC go up. No voice. No. Oh. I don't want to have to hear that shit. I'm gonna level up manually. Because, no, I don't want to let it do whatever the fuck it wants to do. What I do want to do is go through. That's never going to be applicable. But I want to go through and try and figure out some of the best ways to handle this. I'm going to start with another level at this. Because skills, you get to keep going up. You have to keep going up. I need at least 1 in each of those. I don't technically need 1 in you. Now, cross-class skills are limited in how high they can go. Or how high you're allowed to raise them, I should say. I don't need to worry about spellcraft yet. I put the point in lore. But yeah, disable device and open lock are the 2 skills that you get 1 chance at going into a couple of buildings where you need those. And if you don't have them on you, because the people in your party at that time do not, then you lose your chance forever at them. So, no. Now, you don't need to be super good at them, but there is failure chance. So it's still a save and keep retrying kind of thing. But no, you do end up needing those. So in any test build, I do accommodate that. because at the end of the tutorial intro, you are 3rd level, so I need to have those by 3rd level in any test. I will get this in now, and they are technically including some that you shouldn't have access to. A cleric, by standard rules, must be within 1 step of their deity, and some of these are not within 1 step of lawful neutral. Within 1 step of lawful neutral is if lawful neutral is, okay, you have a grid. If lawful neutral is the left side middle, because that's where it is in the grid, within 1 step is lawful good, true neutral, and lawful evil. They have included on this list some that are not. And these are default gods for this setting. They're not overall gods for whatever. Um, I'm just gonna go with Helm, because why not? If I were going with the Divine Soul, is that it? This would be the one because favored weapon on arm strike, but I'm not. So, based on their portfolio, this seems like a better fit. I don't actually know how they fit into the setting. You and that. And the other thing that I need for what I'm doing is that feat. So that feat. And this. I have tested a little, and it seems like having Uncanny Dodge doesn't let me, as it would say in the book, step up to improved Uncanny Dodge, or having Evasion let me step up to improved Evasion when those become available. I've already poked at that a little. I am taking this because this does stack with that other bonus, so improved saves and AC I will take. I care less about the domain spells. I care more about what else I'm getting along with it. So definitely that. And then, since those aren't stacking the way they should, I'm not sure what other. I don't want that. That seems like a bad fit. Resistances aren't. Blind Flight's not a terrible idea. The spells aren't great. I don't. That's not super helpful, I don't think. Hit points. Stone Skin isn't terrible. I don't know how useful it is in this game, but that's. Huh. That's weird. What do you do? Oh. Cast as if with power. I mean, if I just want to be a more effective heal bot, that's not a terrible idea. Identify and knock. I don't know how much the other stuff is relevant, but those might be. Improved initiative is. I mean, that's irrelevant because I can't wear armor. No. Eh. Oh. That is a. I don't know how much I care about either of those spells. That's. That's an option. That saves me a feat later on that I can use on something else. Sure. I don't know how interesting watching me work through some of the decisions to build this in a useful way might be for you, but I mean, it's a thing, and it gives me plenty of time to test the crop and listen to that soft background sound and hear the little sound effects and see if I need to adjust things. Um, theoretically, it could be 3-3 or 4-2. It's just the points at which their base attack bonuses go up. Like I needed to get that to 2 to get that up. And now it depends more on whether I want to. Some of the stuff with Monk will progress with the Prestige class on its own, but not the class specific. Your fists become magic weapons. You become immune to poison or disease or whatever. Those things require me to put more levels into this and be a less effective caster. I do get spellcasting levels through the Prestige class, but so yeah, I think it makes sense to put more into Monk because there's more specialized stuff in Monk, and worry a little less about the much higher level magic that I don't know how much I'll need. Because with this test, it gives me enough experience to get all the way through the Prestige class and come back out the other side and start making decisions in that way again. You need to be at 8. You do that. Um, I mean, heal will probably matter some. Doesn't need to be trained though. So concentration may matter more. Diplomacy. I could have someone else be the talky bits. Maybe? I don't know if that's one of those things where it really matters if it's you or someone else. In some games, I don't think this is one of them. If the main character doesn't have it, it doesn't matter. I know that becomes an issue in KOTOR, but this is also not KOTOR. I guess I can put some there. Don't need anything else. Oh, there is. It's not available there yet. Don't actually care about any of those. Key strike. That's the one. That. This matters. Um, the middle stage, not so much. That last one. Aren't I supposed to have that? Oh, no, it gives me the... God damn it. I had to choose the different deity. I fucked that up. This is why I do test runs, because it's easy for me to miss something. So I would have to do that. I don't... And I need to have the focus before I can do the critical stuff. So yeah, I did screw that up. So it's good that this is a test. I did need to change the deity. Oh well. But now I can go through the... Once it becomes available, like you've unlocked the requirements, it moves it up to the top of the list. Do that. Yep, that's the one that needs to keep advancing. That's good for getting access to spells and improving my AC. So those can keep going up. Get those to 5. Oh. I don't know if this is actually all that relevant in the particular confines of this game, but getting it up to 5 probably won't hurt anything. Oh, no, I don't know that I need you higher than that. That's one of those. If I see that it's mattering as I'm actually leveling, I can change how I'm distributing those points. But I don't know offhand that it will. Because there's that. This is a feat that's helpful. It makes all the healing do a little more. But yeah, I lost a feat by doing a dump. And that's frustrating, but I'll live. Let's see. some of this is just burning my way through skill points because I'm not sure how best to utilize them. Yeah. So now I can also do this. So now both the range and the ability to confirm are improved. I know I want to take those. There. And you'll notice that, it's working its way up without the need for armor. Then now, by the time I get there, the bonus hit points may matter less, but I'm more figuring out what I want to get rather than the order with the higher levels. The order matters in getting to this a bit more, but I'm also almost done with this. And now I can have the ability to cast 8th level spells, not that I have access to them. Right. And now, since that's done, I could actually start something else if I want to. Now, actually, I'm going to open up my spellbook. With the progress I've got, I have access to up to 5th level spells. Meaning, if somebody falls down, I can't actually pick them back up. That's not what so that's, not a terrible place to get to, is, well, both group healing and pick up dead bodies. If I don't put anything else in that, I can still, and yeah, my AC's up to 21, just because of stat and class improvements. If okay, that does update that. If I turn on an off flurry, it is good to know. So, assuming I want to continue on with this, how does that work out? Actually, this does break down some of when I get stuff. Purity of body, so I'm immune to disease at the next one. And then 2 more, I can heal myself a little. And then 2 more to get improved evasion. And I will not be able to get to the higher level stuff. Just because, you have to get enough experience to actually get to those levels. Which, I don't know if that's going to happen. Not sure what I want to do with those. Because some skills will be mostly other people's jobs, I think. You get plenty of NPCs you can rotate through. I do remember that much. I never got far enough to know just how many of them you get. But I know with a lot of skills, I don't need to worry about them as much, because having them on more than one person is probably good. But they're not all my job, like with some other games. So I'm a total of 17 levels, so I'll only be able to make 1 more. I get what now? terrible. Oh, that might be worth it. And yeah, that's as far as you can get with the experience they give you. But getting to level 18 to be able to test out a build is good. And yeah, that AC is up to 23 now. If I were a normal class, I would have an unarmored AC of 12, because that number would be the only one that mattered. I'm so glad I'm. So, if I'm going to take War Domain, I gotta actually pay attention to that. And that might be the way to go about that. But you have seen, well, more in the leveling than I'm likely to get to anytime in the near future. But you've got to see something. And how this controls there. Actually, okay, I might as well do a little bit. There were 3 different map modes. I have changed how they work a bit, um, just because the defaults bug me. Um, I want to be able to look around the way I want to look around, and there is a key you can hold to highlight everything interactable. I'm not doing anything here because I'm not playing this campaign, but being able to run around with that highlighted, I don't know why you're being hiccupy. Um, but being able to move around with that highlighted is helpful. You That's weird. I don't know if that's a side effect of capturing the whole screen or what, but that's also something that's good to know while I'm testing it. If it's going to make the graphics jerky, that might be a reason not to. Beyond the it won't capture the window, so I have to do a display capture, which is discouraging to say the least. But this is technically Neverwinter Nights too, and I have no idea what I think about playing it, other than there seems to be a few frustrations involved if I do.